Mr. Lang, by whom are you employed, sir? The New York Police Department. How long have you been employed by them? A little over 11 years. What is your current position? I am an imaging specialist. How long have you been in that position? The 11 years that I've been there. Is there a particular group within the Secret Service that you are a part of? It's part of our Forensic Services Division. Yes. And that is the DC Division? Yes, it is. Now, sir, in other words, our laboratory receives videotapes for enhancement, and having received them from all over the world and fulfills the requests of people that send stuff, focusing on the videotapes, yes. Sir, can you describe for us in general what enhancement is as succinctly as you can? As I said, we receive videotapes from surveillance cameras. Where are these cameras located? I think in banks from the convenience stores, and our task is to enhance the images on the videotapes. What is your goal when you are trying to enhance a videotape? Defense counsel. Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant and immaterial. The court overruled because to increase the viability or viewability of the images of the last cast. Let us say what is imaging processing. It is the science that we apply to still images that we extracted from videotapes. And can you tell the jury what your educational background is, sir? I received a Bachelor of Science degree from Rochester Institute of Technology. And that is a photographic technology, and it was orchestrated by whom? Well, it was done by me. For instance, how does that degree relate to video enhancement? That's what I trained for in college. In other words, I opted for that in college. And was that a profession? Yes, it was. Have you received any special training in video enhancement? As far as you can recall? Yes. Go ahead. We do training on a regular basis with other scientific groups in the community, other law enforcement groups, as well as vendors and people that produce the types of products that we use. Sir, in a given work week, how much of your time is devoted to video enhancement? Defense counsel. Move to strike as unresponsive. The court. Objection overruled. About 20 hours, I would say. Approximately how many hours in the case have you done? I have done in the course of my career many, many cases. Somewhere in the area of 800? Yes. Have you ever testified in any trials in your capacity as an imaging and audio specialist, a duly qualified one? Yes. And what is that? That is approximately many times. And how many times? It's not more than half a dozen or so. Sir, did there come a time when you were requested to conduct an enhancement of videotapes in this case? Yes. Can you describe the process by which you became involved briefly? Defense counsel. Objection on the ground of immateriality and irrelevance, Your Honor. The court. Objection overruled. A request came from our Buffalo office, field office, that the request was made for individual enhancement of some videotapes that were sent with the request form. Can you tell the jury how many? Yes. How many were you requested to enhance? 2. How many in total were you requested? 3 is a totality. Did you receive all 3 of those? No, I did not. Can you describe for the jury how you received those videotapes? Defense counsel. Objection on the ground of competence, Your Honor. The court. You know, it is qualified. The first 2 tapes that we received came through our Buffalo field office. They are shipped to us. They were shipped to you? Yes. And did you receive the... What educational background do you have, sir? I received a Bachelor of Science degree from Rochester University Technology. Inspector Tyler, from your investigation, did you determine whether anything other than cash drawers were stored in the vault at the Niagara Square post office at night? Yes, they stored what they call treasure chest stamps. It would just be stamps that they would sell out at the window. They would put it in the same drawers, but it would only be postage stamps and envelopes and postcards and that type of thing. And you refer to these types of drawers that contain stamps as treasure chests. That's what they call it at that facility. Do you know how the treasure chest or stamp stock drawers were kept in the vault? They were just put in there, they weren't locked. When you say put in there, where do you mean? I'm sorry, they were put in the same drawer storage unit as the cash drawers, but they would not. They were in the same type of drawers, so they would fit into the slot, but they were not locked. They were not locked? No. The court. We represent the question, or we present it. Sure. Can you describe for the jury how the stamp stock or treasure chest drawers were stored in the vault in the evenings? They were stored in the exact same way as the cash drawers, only they were not locked. From your investigation, did you learn how many stamp drawers or treasure chests were used by the window clerks at the Niagara Square post office? Each clerk that worked there had their own cash drawer, and there were 3 treasure chest drawers. Was there a reason, sir, why the stamp stock or treasure chest drawers were not locked in a holder or receptacle in the vault? Because it was part of the unit accountability, and any clerk could access at any time, so there was no need to lock it in. So, follow me on this. Because you have mentioned unit accountability, can you describe what that means and what it meant in Niagara Square Post Office during this relevant time period from 97 to 99? Yes, unit accountability at this particular time. At that time, it was one of the few places that had unit accountability. Tough?
Yeah.